racehorses get their names? For instance, if Phar Lap had been called Radish, would he have still been a champion? In all probability, yes. But there is much more to naming a prospective champion than plunging on the first idea that springs to mind. Michael Maher has been delving into the high science that determines a horse's name.
Dan Zero down the outside is about to swamp these leaders. Dan Zero coming at St Cuthbert. St Cuthbert, 100 metres left to go. Impala and Paris Lane are trying hard, but it's Stewart for the Melbourne Cup. County is drawing right away. He's far too good. Kingston Town, he's going to bolt in. Kingston Town, 4 lengths to Prince Ruling.
As well as they race under names they make famous, thoroughbreds still leave you wondering. Could they have been so good with less majestic titles? What's in a name? Horses may not be able to read, but if they're poorly labelled, they have a habit of performing as miserably as they sound.
As a racing commentator, I think I'm more conscious of names than most, and I've always believed that such a noble beast as the thoroughbred is entitled to a decent moniker, at least until such times as he's proven to be a slow coach.
So innocent until proven guilty?
Absolutely.
A name can condemn a horse to mediocrity. Consider Snake Eyes, Fatty Finn's Dog, Chaff Bag, Freak or Stinky. Now this gelding here, to be trained by Anthony Cummings at Randwick, is to be named in a Sydney hotel tonight, and you can only hope that the owners do the right thing by the horse. Paying more than $80 a month each to lease the horse, 20 syndicate members have a serious interest in the name. The vital statistics: it's a 2-year-old colt whose dad is the sire Ace K and mum the mare Cutting Green Hay. The White Cockatoo Hotel is abuzz, and publican and syndicate leader Steve Ginty is well versed in things turf. Setting up is no less than son Joseph Quinton Ginty, middle name after the jockey and trainer.
We've got to organise a name for this racehorse fairly quick, because Anthony tells me it's working the track down. It's doing 4 and 48, so we need to get a name in fairly quick if we're going to get it to start this time round. I'll open up the meeting like this.
It's a Victor. It's coming up the rise and it's over there and it's going to mow him down. Yes, please.
Still Waters.
So Still Waters?
Still Waters. I think it's a pretty name because I got a beautiful daughter named Nerida. And that's what it means, Still Water.
Horse naming is a necessary ritual, and no one appreciates the fact more than George Capel, head of registrations of horses Australia-wide. On his computer, George has 400,000 registered names that you can't have. For a start, you can't have Phar Lap or any classic winners.
Names recycle after every 15 years. Names that are likely to offend members of the royal family, names of companies with which the applicant is associated, names that are longer than 18 letters and spaces, names with first, second or last in them because of the confusion that they could cause.
Some owners, like Fred Astaire, received knockback after knockback.
Well, Fred Astaire was in Australia in 1959 to make a famous movie called On the Beach, made in Melbourne. During the time, he went to the Melbourne races frequently, fell in love with the place, decided to buy a couple of yearlings, which he left here with a Melbourne trainer, Stan Murphy. Fred submitted stacks of names with the Victorian Racing Club, couldn't get any of the names he put in for, and eventually threw up his hands and said, look, he said to the registrar, call them anything, I don't care. And one of the names given was actually Anything. And under that name, the horse won the Ballarat Cup and other races.
One syndicate hit 99 unsuccessful applications and then, frustrated, opted for a name that became Thoroughbred Legend.
But Century's going to walk in. He's 5 in front halfway down the straight, and the colt's going to win by a minute. Carnation for me in second placing, but Century's won by 5 lengths.
They may not be quite so famous, but names like these can at least fail intelligently. Aphrodisiac out of Food for Love. Cheesed Off out of Lady Bree. Count Defeat by 3 Legs. Fishnet out of Stockings. Mow the Lawn by Comte de Grasse. Just for Money from Not for Love. La Tartare by Sir Trout. Sober by No Alcoholic. Pottering About from Summer Garden, and So Is Winning by Racing is Fun. Meanwhile, for the new owners, the naming rights continue.
I'm Gus the electrician, and the name I've picked for the horse is Smart Harvest. I'd call it Cut for Aces. Aces out of Ace K and cutting green hay.
That's pretty good.
Card, no?
You've thought about it?
Deeply.
I like the Stuka because when I was a kid and we used to cut green hay, all I did for the next 3 weeks was Stuke hay, and all I was a Stuka. And I got very, very little pay, so I might get a little bit back this way if this horse can win a race.
What all name hunters should avoid is vulgarity. One galloper called Merkin, a term for a wig of pubic hair, lasted one race before a name change was forced. The owner opting for Giostra, Italian for merry-go-round. But names just as risque are still going around.
But it's Richard Cranium, too good in the run homer, and Richard Cranium came on to score by a length and a half. Swift Talent.
Richard Cranium is actually not registered in Australia. It's racing here on a visitor's permit. It was named in New Zealand, and because of the quality of the races and the fact that it wasn't going to stay here for a long time, it's here as a visitor.
But would you have allowed that name?
No, we wouldn't have given that name.
Distasteful?
No, absolutely.
But the real challenge is in marrying dam and sire in the one name. Find by Canny Lad from Tested at Random. Gentle Cut, Snippets and Velvet Feeling. Popemobile, Papal Power from Lunar Sky. Pyjama Party, Seattle Siesta, Dress to Kill. Suggest a Song, Jukebox out of Suggesta. Self-Portrait by Vane out of Sketch. Varicose, also by Vane, from Little Joy. And a horse that came with a divorce, She Got the House, by True Version, out of Torn Monarch. But getting the name and the form right is the ultimate mastery.
And the big boy, look at the size of him. He's a giant, and Nothing Like a Dane, beautifully ridden by Larry Cassidy, races away to beat Catalan opening with...
He's by Dane Hill, out of Like a Pretender, Leica as in cameras, L-E-I-C-A. We went through every hill in Denmark. There are none. Denmark is as flat as a pancake. We went through all the Danish pretenders, all the politicians and film stars, people who pretend for a living. There were none of those whose names we could get that we could get registered. We went through hundreds of names. And one night, in the wee dark hours, my brother rang me up from the bush and he said, "There's nothing like a Dane." Oh, what a ripper. It's a marvellous name.
If a name can mean that much, back at the pub, this vote is crucial.
Cut for Aces.
Cut for Aces.
Yeah, Cut for Aces. Cut for Aces. Last Harvest.
Stuka. Go water.
Cut for Aces.
Cut for Aces.
I'll stick with the Stuka, but it looks as if Cut for Aces has got it. And we tell you what, she better start cutting a few aces if we're going to win come up trumps.
Yo.
Like all owners, the Cut for Aces stable would like to continue the imagining. It's now time for hopes and dreams.
100 metres out and Snake Eyes is being tackled by Fatty Finn's dog. His Chaff Bag on the outside joining in, and right down the outside Cut for Aces is finishing right over the top of them. Snake Eyes and Chaff Bag are fighting it out, but look at Cut for Aces. Cut for Aces on the outside hits the lead close to home, and it's a big win to Cut for Aces. Cut for Aces drawing away, beats Chaff Bag. In third place Snake Eyes, followed by Fatty Finn's dog, and then Bulldog Thong Thatch is a long way back, and then Blogs Wallop and Tommy Tittlemouse is last.
Go Tappy. I think Tappy should be the fellow who gives the yay or nay to some of the horses' names. Naming the horse is the easy part. Getting it to the stage when it is capable of winning a race is an entirely different challenge again. Still to come, eavesdropping on our rugby league referees. But up next, we report on the trend that says your team's best off-season buy might well be a computer.
It can be used to improve technique. It can be used to improve positioning of refereeing. It really can be used for a whole lot of things. You know, I've just picked it up for basketball, but it's limitless.
The first one's okay. He's going to pass the ball. I let you come over the top. Then why are you going for the arm across his throat? That's what Brian's got you for. Come across late. Not on, Tony. Not on.